Hi, I'm Greg, and welcome to My Gregarious World. Please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell if you'd like to follow our 30-day adventure in Rome. Your comments and questions are always welcome in the comment section below. Today is our 8th day in Rome, and we're heading in the direction of Vatican City because we have tickets to tour the Vatican Necropolis this afternoon. On our way to the Vatican, we stopped at our favorite coffee bar, Bar Farnese, near Campo di Fiori, and ordered due cappuccini and due meritosi. Meritosi are brioche buns flavored with orange zest, vanilla, and honey, then filled with whipped cream. They're an Italian specialty and not to be missed during a visit to Rome. After our Italian breakfast, we continued walking toward Vatican City, crossing the Tiber River, and soon finding ourselves in the shadow of St. Peter's Dome. We planned to arrive early in the morning in order to have time to find the Office of Papal Charities. Karen and I wanted to order some papal blessing parchments for members of our family celebrating milestone wedding anniversaries. These personalized hand-painted parchments are available for purchase either online or in person. Since we were in Rome for the month, we decided to order the certificates in person. The Office of Papal Charities is not easy to find. On the right side of the colonnade of St. Peter's Square, you'll find St. Anne's Gate. At the gate's entrance, a Swiss guard will point you in the direction of the office. It's a bit confusing to find, but when you see the statue of the homeless Jesus, you're in the right place. There are many sizes of parchments available, and the price varies depending on size. The cost was approximately €20 each. It takes about 2 weeks for the parchments to be painted and personalized. To order online, you'll find a link in the notes below. To order in person, the Papal Charities office is open from Monday to Saturday, 8:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. After ordering our parchments, we walked around Vatican City, scoping out restaurant menus and looking for the perfect place to eat lunch before our Necropolis tour. While strolling through the streets, we passed by an open green church door, and of course we went into the Chiesa di Santo Spirito in Sassia. The Church of the Holy Spirit in the Saxon district is the Divine Mercy Shrine in Rome. It was transformed by St. John Paul II into a center for Divine Mercy spirituality. Inside one of the chapels, you'll find the relics of St. Faustina Kowalska, who had apparitions of Jesus and which inspired the Catholic devotion to the Divine Mercy. Pope John Paul II had a strong devotion to the Divine Mercy and beatified and canonized Sister Kowalska. There's also a chapel containing the relics of St. John Paul II, and the church is now a major pilgrim destination, particularly for Poles in Rome. Santa Maria in Traspontina is another beautiful church with an open green door that we visited while exploring the streets of Vatican City. The third chapel on the left contains the 2 columns that Peter and Paul were said to have been bound to as they were martyred. We didn't have plans to see this church, and it was an unexpected surprise to see these pillars. Another example of when you see an open green door to a church, go inside. For lunch, we ate at Borghiciana Pastificio Artigianale. We had passed by earlier that morning, and the menu looked appealing to us. Also, the restaurant was a pasta factory, so we decided to come back for a homemade pasta lunch. It had just opened when we arrived back at 11:45, and it was already beginning to fill up. The restaurant holds only 16 people, and we were given one of the last available tables. Karen ordered the Tonarelli Carbonara for €10, and I had the Rigatoni Amatriciana for €11. We found the price to be average and very comparable to other restaurants in Rome. Service was quick, but we didn't feel rushed. The pasta is made daily in-house, and the sauces were very flavorful. We quickly cleaned our plates, and as we left, we couldn't miss noticing the long line that had formed while we were eating. Now it was time to head to St. Peter's Square for our excavation tour of the Vatican Necropolis and St. Peter's Tomb. We checked in with the Swiss guard, showing them our confirmation letter confirming the scheduled time of our visit. They pointed us to the security checkpoint before we were allowed to proceed to the Scavi office. The necropolis is very confined, so backpacks or large totes are not allowed through the security checkpoint. Also, since it's a sacred burial place, knees and shoulders must be covered. We then walked a short distance to the Scavi office, where we were checked in and exchanged our vouchers for a ticket. We then waited for our tour guide to arrive. While waiting, we found the engraved stone tile marking the spot where the current Vatican obelisk was originally located in the Circus of Nero. Tradition says St. Peter was crucified upside down next to the obelisk. A small group of approximately 12 people. We felt very fortunate to be there, since under 250 people are permitted to enter each day. So it's wise to request tickets as early as possible. At the time of our visit, the cost to enter the necropolis was €13, and reservations could be made online at scavi.va. Our tour guide was the wife of the commander of the Swiss Guard. She was very knowledgeable, and we enjoyed the 1-hour tour. The tour culminated with a glimpse of the area where the bones of St. Peter are entombed. No photos were allowed. After the tour, we exited into the crypt or grotto of the basilica, and were free to explore St. Peter's Basilica on our own without waiting in line. Since we had been to St. Peter's Basilica and crypt on a previous trip to Rome, we quickly walked through the crypt and then took the stairs up to the main part of the basilica. It was fairly crowded, but we admired Bernini's baldachin, realizing that we had just seen St. Peter's actual burial place that's located 30 feet directly below the grotto level of the basilica. We stopped to say a prayer at the tomb of Pope St. John Paul II. John Paul II was moved from his original resting place in the grotto to the main floor of St. Peter's Basilica in 2011, in preparation for his beatification. And of course, we had to stop and admire Michelangelo's Pietà. With our Necropolis ticket, we received a discounted rate to climb St. Peter's Dome. As Karen and I left the basilica and made our way to the dome entrance, we passed by a water fountain and basin. There were many people there blessing themselves, filling water bottles and drinking from the fountain. I'm not sure the water flowing from the taps is holy, but it is potable. When we arrived at the booth to purchase our tickets, we had two options: climb 551 steps to the top of the dome for €8, or take the elevator up to the first level and climb an additional 320 steps to the top for €10. Since with our Necropolis ticket we were able to use the elevator at a discount, €8, we chose that option. Most visitors seem to choose the option of taking the elevator to the first level, and the line to enter the elevator was long. Only 10 people are allowed in the elevator at the time, so the line moves slowly. It was worth paying the additional €2 and taking the elevator. The elevator lets you out on the roof of St. Peter's Basilica. Karen and I walked straight to the front of the basilica to view the 13 huge statues that crown the facade. The statues are of Christ the Redeemer in the center, and St. John the Baptist on his right side, along with Christ's apostles, minus St. Peter. We walked on the rooftop admiring the statues and the dome. There is a cafe on this level where you can get refreshments, and there are also nice clean restrooms. There are a steep set of steps to climb to get to the interior of the dome. Designed by the famous Michelangelo in the 16th century, the dome is said to be the tallest in the world at 136 meters. As I entered and saw the dome up close, I was mesmerized by the beauty. Then as I looked down into the basilica, I could really appreciate how enormous and impressive the building is. We then began climbing up the 320 steep steps to the top of the cupola. The steps are cramped and narrow with no handrails. It's one way up and one way down, so it would be difficult to change your mind halfway up because you won't be able to get back down. If you're claustrophobic or have breathing issues, this is not the excursion for you. Near the end of the climb, there's a rope to hold onto as you reach the top of the winding staircase. And the reward for the climb is the most iconic panoramic views of Rome. Going down the stairs was much easier than climbing up. The exit again took us into St. Peter's Basilica, where we walked around looking up at the dome that we just climbed. On the walk home, we passed by the Vatican post office, For about 2.5 euros, you can send a postcard to anywhere in the world, in the smallest nation in the world. Santa Maria in Vallicella was just over the bridge from the Vatican as we walked towards the city center. The green door of the church was open, and again, although not a planned stop, we had to go inside. The main altar was under construction, so we could not explore this beautiful church. But later, we read that the tomb of St. Philip Neri could be found in the chapel to the left of the altar. The altarpiece and 2 flanking paintings are by Rubens, so if you're passing by Santa Maria in Vallicella, it's a church you should not miss. It was a great day visiting Vatican City. We'll be returning before our time in Rome is over to pick up our papal blessing parchments and have an audience with the Pope. See you next time! Please hit the subscribe button so you'll be notified when Day 9 in Rome becomes available. Day 9 includes visiting Santa Croce in Gerusalemme to see the relics of the Passion, the Scala Santa Holy Steps, St. John Lateran and Baptistry, and more.